Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel Cactus, the channel where I take lifestyle content and wrap it up in a series for you. If you are new here, I'm Becky Kwanga. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Guys, you have been so supportive. Thank you for supporting your girl. This is the third video in our talk about mental health and mental wellness. If you are new to this channel, we've been on a series about taking our power back. We've already spoken about the law of attraction and attracting and manifesting what we want. So if you want to watch those 3 videos, place them in the description box below, and I've also put some links up here, all right? And then this is the 3rd episode in our mental health and mental wellness. So if you haven't watched the first 2 episodes, I would also recommend you watch those first, and then you can come and watch this video so that it all makes sense for you, and so it all ties in and you're not getting things in chop. All right, I'm so happy, so happy to hear that this series has been so helpful to so many of you. I'm so grateful for all the little messages I get on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Twitter. This is just so fulfilling for me. So please do not forget to leave me some comments also on YouTube, okay? Because that tells YouTube that you are enjoying it, and then it will share it to other people. So yes, feel free to message me on WhatsApp or whatever, but please also leave me some comments below. Don't forget to give this video a mighty thumbs up if you like it, and honey, join the family, support your girl, hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Anything that suddenly seems to have gone to the other extreme, your emotions, your appetite, you're not sleeping, or you're sleeping too much, you've isolated yourself, everything is hard work. All those are signs of.
So I guess a good question would be, now how do we deal with this stuff? Obviously you've talked about talking to a therapist and stuff like that, or talking to somebody, but you know, in the situation that perhaps someone doesn't have the money to go and see a therapist, or someone, you just don't feel safe enough to talk to anybody about the situation. What can someone do with themselves? Are there certain things that we can do to at least help us get a bit better? You know?
I think it depends a lot on what has triggered this feeling of feeling low. Oh, that's what I forgot to say. If this feeling of feeling low is a very big symptom, if it goes for 2 weeks plus, is a very big sign. So it's not just a lowness. We all get low every once in a while. But if it's 2 weeks plus, that's a very big sign that, you know, that is depression, because it has not gone away. It means you're carrying a lot. So back to what can we do if we can't afford to go to a therapist, we can't afford a counselor, and we don't feel safe anywhere? It will depend a lot on what has triggered it. So finding out what your triggers are is really, really important, as well as which will lead you to, are you in denial or not? You have that's the first thing that you need to find out. Have I accepted that this is or not?
That's the big one.
You know, that's a very big one. If, for example,
it's huge.
I have
it's
been
huge.
Yeah, exactly. It is a very big one. Let's take something like, you know that you're drinking too much. And this has upset the boat in the home. But you know that you are, and you're denying it. For as long as you deny it, you're not going to get help. You're not going to be able to help yourself, isn't it? But if I know that actually I do have an issue, then I can seek help. the right kind of help. For something like that, you'd really need to speak to
You
somebody.
need to speak to someone. That's
You'd really need to
so
speak to
intense.
somebody. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very intense.
Yeah.
There are also other situations that are like, like traumatic. If you've been abused, if things like that, you actually do need to speak to somebody.
That's pretty serious
That's
stuff.
very, very serious stuff.
Yeah.
Then there are the other things where you've been going low because I'm overspending. I'm living above my means and now the bills have come. I've been a shopaholic. So what do? If I can accept that I am a shopaholic, it means then I will feel more empowered to sit down and look at what am I spending my money on? Why am I spending? You'll be able to look and see, is it necessary, really? And something like that, you can work out of it yourself, depending on how serious you want to get healed.
Because really, when we're doing things like overspending there's an underlying issue, isn't there?
Yeah,
usually?
there is. Yeah, there is.
So asking ourselves these questions will help us. We have to deal with that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you have to be ready to deal with it.
You have to be ready.
Yes, you must not deny. Another
Yeah.
good one is I know that I'm in a wrong relationship, which is abusive, but I've refused to see that. I've told myself, no, there's always hope. Huh? I will make it work. I will make him or her leave her husband or wife.
Right.
It has to work.
Yeah.
Already, and that situation, because of it is an impossible situation in that that they're not going to go anywhere and that they're staying with their family. Already, you know what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is what is bringing you down, the fact that it is not going to happen the way in which I wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
So that's pulling you down and pulling you down. That is one of the situations where, you know what? Got to do some decision making there and you've got to follow it through. So there are things like that, where you're actually the person who is totally in charge, totally in control. Nobody has forced you. Not like a traumatic situation where there's been a war and you're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, or you've been abused, you're always being beaten. Even though with the domestic violence situation as well, you can make a decision. It will be difficult, but you can make a decision.
Yeah.
If you know that your child is being abused, you can make a decision. You either deal with it or
Yes.
and you know what? It begins to take away that feeling low, powerless, and helpless. Yeah? So there are those ones. And then, you've got the mental illnesses where you definitely need to see a psychiatrist to help you deal with the medical side of things in terms of medication.
Right.
And then just get you going on this road. But even with psychiatrists and mental health and the mental illnesses, they are meant to work with a psychologist or a psychotherapist. They're meant to work.
They're meant to, and they don't. There was an exposure the other day. Yes. Again,
they're meant to.
This is why I love Twitter.
Fantastic.
A group of people had actually talked about some psychiatrists who were just pretty much just
doing their own thing.
Doing their own thing, over medicating, and not involving. This was a huge subject on the matter.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
One of the
couple of names were mentioned.
They were, huh?
Yes.
Because one of the series, one of our episodes that I'm doing is educating people on what a psychiatrist should be doing, even education. What a counselor, and there are very many Juakali counselors.
Oh my
God. Somebody has done a 3-month training, and you're calling yourself. In fact, there's counseling and there's helping skills, support skills. And then we have the psychotherapist, clinical psychotherapist, or not clinical psychotherapist. And then you have the psychiatrists, and then you've got the psychiatric nurses and stuff. But basically, don't just go to anyone. Psychiatrists are, and if you're out there watching, psychiatrists I know are meant to be working with psychotherapists or counselors, but well-trained counselors,
Right.
who have also had their own, what do we call it, personal development in terms of they've had their issues. We're meant to be having our issues being supervised. We are meant to be working through our issues as well.
Right. Wow.
Otherwise, you're projecting.
Exactly. Sorry, I just spat my whole chewing gum out. Oh my God, but that's
Yeah, they're meant to.
that's exactly it.
Because how can I work with you
Yes.
if I don't have somebody who's working with me?
Exactly. Exactly.
That is one of the reasons why I'm very, very wary about a lot of counselors, because you end up imposing or projecting what you think that person should do. It's not about creating an awareness and giving them a bigger view of what's going on for them. I've come across counselors who think they're counseling and they're actually telling you, you know what, you should do this because this, and because this, and you should. So I'm telling you what I think.
You know, and another thing we've talked about again, and I'm sorry I keep mentioning feedback from everyone.
No.
Is especially with Christians as well.
Oh God, yes.
We are so quick to push someone to what we think is just read scriptures, do you pray, do you what?
No, that's
You know?
that is not counseling. It's,
Yeah.
by the time somebody has come to you,
Yes.
you actually have no right
Yes.
to push scripture at them.
Yeah. Yes.
It is, first of all, getting alongside them. You've got to feel with the compassion has got to be there. But I can't tell you what to do. I can't. So, there's so much of that going on. And we could spend a whole day talking about stuff like that, where maybe we do need to have a session another time where we're just talking about what is going on in this town in terms of mental health professionals and
Yes.
mwananchi, the ordinary Joe blogs.
Yes.
Because this comes out of the 3-month training, exactly. And one of the things I realized in this country, I mean, having trained in the UK, where you're so accountable.
Right.
And you've got to fulfill certain hours all through, you've got to have certain hours of individual personal therapy.
Look at that.
You have to have those hours.
I really wonder if that's happening here.
I don't think so.
Even
supervision.
Right.
You're meant to be having supervision when you are working with a client. Say, for example, you're my client. It can't just be me and you. I have got to have somebody that I'm not giving your name.
Yes.
But when I get into a situation where I am not sure, I feel I've got to be able to be accountable to somebody else who is leading and guiding as well.
Wow.
That's why I say there are so many people, counselors or professionals who are calling themselves that, but they themselves are not following. Is their body that follows them up?
Right. That's such a good question.
Yeah, is there a body that follows them up?
Oh my God.
I mean, I know that there's a Kenya Association of, but I have no clue what they do. Because when I first arrived, I was told that you need to have a master's. Now, when people start putting things like that up, I'm thinking, what is most important here? Your training,
right?
But also the number of hours. Are you doing those personal hours of therapy Are you, you know,
Right.
what, I doubt if it
That's
happens.
huge. My gosh.
Yeah.
So I mean, then how do we? I don't know. How do we know that we're going to somebody that perhaps we should just stop going to?
It's a very good question. You see,
Yeah.
that brings into question another question. As soon as we see a doctor, the doctor knows best. We have to move into that position of me, I'm asking you
Yes.
my questions, my concerns. And actually, I have a right to ask you, are you qualified? Even where did you qualify?
Right. Where did you do your training?
Where did you have every right to do that.
How long did you do it for?
Exactly. And I pray that this is going to be happening. Are you having personal therapy for yourself?
Right. As a
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to project things onto me that are like, hey, hold on a minute. Those are your own personal issues. And then, you're...
and this is happening. This is happening.
Yeah. And, it's like you're trying to push me into that hole. And I'm like, no, that's not about me. This is your own personal agenda, you see.
My God.
Clients are very vulnerable
Right.
when they go to see people who are medical. When we go to see a doctor, and I've seen it with people like my mom, even with my family, it's like the doctors know everything. So we don't question, we don't ask.
Right.
They tell us.
Oh my
And it's the same thing with the mental health professionals. We need to learn. You
Right.
can ask. You
Yes.
ask, you have every right to ask.
Right.
Your
Yes.
qualifications. Are you having supervision?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, are you having supervision?
Are you having supervision?
Otherwise,
That's
I'm
a
working
good
on
one.
my own.
a
Why
good
am I
one.
working on my own?
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
meant to be. In
Yeah.
other words, if anything happened between us,
That's it. There's no accountability.
there's
There's
none.
nothing.
There's none. There's absolutely none. Absolutely none. So those are the things that need to be flagged out. Also, don't just go to the first person. Shop around.
Shop around. Shop around.
Shop around. Preferably ask people, do you know of a good counselor, a good therapist? Do you know? Don't just, and if you're unhappy with the person, the way they respond to you,
Yes.
walk away.
Walk away.
You have every right to say, you know what? I'm not comfortable with the way things
Something
are going.
doesn't feel right here.
Yeah, something doesn't feel, and don't go.
That's excellent.
I know that there've been counselors in this and therapists in this town who will keep you going and keep you going. A year later, you've not shifted, but you are still seeing this clinical psychologist, this psychotherapist, this counselor, and they're making money out of you. You know what? The way I work with my clients was after 8 sessions, there had better be changes.
Yes.
And if there are no changes, you haven't moved, it's like you go back to the drawing board. I don't think you're ready. Because you need to be able to have made shifts. A whole year. I always ask, a whole year.
Yep.
Especially if it is situational depression. And I'm
Right.
still seeing you. I have become dependent on you, Becky.
Yep.
And I'm making money out of it. I have seen
And that
it.
is happening here.
Yeah, I have seen it. And it really, it makes me
breaks my
mad.
heart.
Yeah, it makes me mad because we're all in this game. And instead of taking away the dependency, I'm helping you build dependency. People, please be aware of that.
Wow. Dependency.
Yeah,
That is
huge. There's a dependency.
Because at the end of the day, the aim is to get us up onto our own 2 feet, isn't it?
Absolutely.
To handle life by
On your own.
ourselves.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's the main goal.
Yep. Absolutely. Wow. And then I think we're too quick to be put on antidepressants.
Yeah.
But that keeps you hooked on again. So like I say, I'm very wary. I understand that there's some mental illnesses, that need certain medications. But for me, when it comes to things like depression, let us talk. Let us sit down. Let us talk things through. I need to access your ability to think and feel. I can't do that when you're on antidepressants.
Yeah.
And in the past, again, I've told people if they feel like going on do herbal. Do herbal. But I can't work if you're on antidepressants
You
because
can't reach them.
I can't reach them.
Yeah.
Um,
So actually, this is a good point to mention. If you really need someone to talk to, you don't have anyone to talk to, you can check out Miss Shibero, and I'm going to put her contact details in the description box below. I think you had mentioned you have
a group.
a group, yeah.
Yeah, I work with groups because, again, this is going to we are a community people, and the way we work best is by talking in a group.
Yeah.
So I'm working with groups, in groups. Those can be online or offline, but I prefer face to face because then that way there's that contact.
Yeah.
And especially with depression, I will work with especially situational depression. I will work with different groups, even if it's mixed groups, as long as they're not on medication. I will not work on medication. There will be a screening where whether they're ready for a one-on-one on whether they're ready to enter a group or not. Because there are times when a person can be too far gone and need more psychiatric help as opposed to sitting in a group and being able to use the relationship skills, social skills that are relevant
Right.
to work in a group. And if you've got an illness, sometimes that is extremely difficult. And I'd rather refer you, actually. I'd rather refer you.
Yeah.
So there'll be groups that I'm putting together.
Okay.
Where
So they
people
can literally just contact you.
contact me.
And then you can just talk from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So please just check out the description box below.
Yeah.
All her contacts are there. Please, if you need to talk,
Please do.
please talk. Actually, not even if you please talk. Let's talk.
Let's talk about it.
It's so important. But going back to, situations where perhaps, it's not so crazily deeply serious, but you find yourself beginning to sleep more, and certain decisions that we can make, like you said, is, you make a decision to say, you know what, I'm getting up today and I'm going for a walk.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to allow this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have to nip this in the bud.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get up. I'm going to open those curtains.
Yes.
Last year I was low. There were points where I was just like in that bed,
Yeah.
And it was literally just about, okay, today I just have to open these curtains.
I'm going to get up.
I'm going to get up and make this bed,
It's hard,
And
but it's doable.
hard, but it's stuff that has to be done.
Yeah, it does have to be
Just
done.
small decisions like that.
Little steps,
Yeah.
small decisions like that.
Yeah.
Get out of bed. And the temptation is to lie in bed. Just get out.
Get out of that bed.
Get into routines. Because when you're lying in bed, you've got nothing. As far as you're concerned, there isn't anything for me to do.
Right.
Get into a routine. Make a routine that takes you out and about. When you feel you want to stay in bed, go against that grain.
That grain.
Yeah.
Exercise. perhaps.
Exercise, eat.
Yeah.
There are certain foods that are not good for depression, but I
Right.
can't remember them. There are certain foods. Go out, meet with people, even if it's one or two people, friends. Do that, but go against the grain. What your brain is telling you to, you should be sleeping now.
Yeah.
Refuse that.
Yeah.
Becky, it works. Just go against what the depression is telling you to do. Refuse that.
Refuse
and go,
it.
Yeah, refuse it. And you can do it.
Yes.
You can do it.
And again, this goes back to the power of the will, the power of the mind, the power
Yeah.
of the tongue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, if you haven't watched the last 2 weeks, please do, because we talked about those affirmations. Speaking,
No, yeah, absolutely.
Speaking.
Absolutely.
Deciding to take action and not letting it have you.
Absolutely.
This and this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speak it out.
Speaking it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And that is a way that you're empowering yourself. Because you know what, folks? Nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody is going to come into that room and try and drag you out of that bed. No one.
Right.
No one's going to come and force food down. No one.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is really down to you. If you want to prevent it becoming full blown, you have to do it. Nobody else will do it.
Yeah.
And if you have children as well, realize that you need to be able to help yourself so that you can also help them. Because once they start going into depression, how will you know if you are?
Yes. Yes.
So it's about you help yourself, you help your friends, you help your family, but go against that grain of, I just want to sleep, or leave me alone. I'm fed up of the world. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Seriously, nobody else is.
And it's tough.
It is tough.
But we've got to do it, and we can.
Yes, you can.
We
You
can
so
do it. We can do it. We are able.
Yeah. And it's talk. You
Yes.
have to talk about it. You have to
Yes.
talk.
Right.
And that is the way that will also begin to break the stigma. And also with the
Yes.
denial, when we stop denying, people will see that we are talking now.
Yes.
We have to talk about it.
Yes.
To break this whole stigma thing.
The stigma thing
Yeah.
is so huge.
And it's like, oh, she couldn't cope. Oh, he couldn't cope. Oh, he just couldn't handle it. I don't care what you think. That's a reality.
And what? And
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So I am going to speak out, whether or not people like it, and don't let people shame you.
Yes.
You've got nothing to be ashamed about. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
We're all vulnerable to this.
Yes, this is life.
This is life.
Yeah,
This is life.
This
we
is
cannot
life.
be shamed for something that happens.
absolutely. And if you do not, if you don't accept, then you can't do anything about it. And if you can't do anything about it, you're already down the slippery slope where you get to a point of no return. Sorry, but
Yes.
that's what's going to happen.
Right.
And I have seen it.
Yes.
I have been depressed as well.
Yes.
There was a time when the age of 22 in the US, and it was in a relationship, and I was far away from home and everything. And I remember one time coming back from university, and I was walking on the curb, and I saw this car coming, and I just thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to throw myself in front of that car.
Wow.
Oh, thank God his angels were around me. It's like,
It's crazy.
no.
Yeah.
But I was this close. I really was. And it was such a shock. I was so shocked.
My God.
And that's when that was the first time I went to see, I went down to the student health center. And first time I've actually been to see a mental health professional. I realized I just wasn't coping. And, I was lonely. I was missing home. The relationship had been abusive, and et cetera, et cetera. So we need to get to that point.
We need to. And again, breaking the stigma, for example, therapy needs to be something that's normal.
Absolutely, like going to a doctor.
Exactly. And when we talk to our parents about therapy, they're like,
Are you mad?
when you think I'm mad? But we need it.
We do need it.
It needs to be seen as simple as going to the chemist or, going...
Exactly. Exactly. But I also wonder whether we need to change that word to, you know, again, I find that the word therapy is very Western and very Eurocentric, and finding something that suits us.
I love this. I
Yeah.
love this. Yeah.
Where we are a community people and we engage in talk, in
I love
discussion.
it.
We really engage
I
that
love that.
way.
Yes.
You know, so maybe we need to
Yes.
find something else. We call it
Yeah.
something else.
Exactly.
Otherwise, the words, as soon as people hear therapy, it's like,
Yes.
oh,
Oh.
yeah. Or if they hear mental health,
Yes,
it's
they're
like,
like
madare.
exactly. Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know? So we need
Yes.
to change our language to suit
Yeah, I
us.
love that.
Isn't
I
it? Yeah.
absolutely love that.
Yeah, and then just knowing your triggers, I think, is very, very crucial because if you can catch if I know that has triggered me, then I will understand how to pull out of it in good time and it'll become a pattern. If I know, for example, every time so and so comes round and they they look down on me, and that makes me feel low. A relationship, for example, then I know what to do. I either choose not to listen to that, or I choose to fight it,
Right.
or I choose not to see that person
Yeah.
because they have me, they cause these feelings in me that are ugly. Do you know what I mean? If you understand what your trigger is, if you're constantly getting into fights with your spouse or with your relative, whoever it might be, with your daughter, with your mother, with your
Right.
son,
Yeah.
I've got to understand how I can stop myself from getting hooked into that discussion. Because when I walk away from that discussion, I'm really upset. Really upset. And now that has triggered the negative thoughts about myself. Do you get what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, I'm being told, you're useless all the time. You're what, you're what. I either stop, walk away from it, or I might listen to them, but I won't take it in, and it's like brush it off, or I go away and I replay different messages to myself.
That is huge. Replay different
Messages,
messages.
absolutely, because as the moment you take those in, that's it. And they keep replaying and replaying and replaying, and then the anger, you're getting more and more angry. So it's all a vicious cycle, and it's about breaking
Nipping
off
it.
that cycle.
Yeah.
Nipping it in the bud, and refusing to get hooked into those situations that take us down a slippery slope. Again, it's not easy, but know what your triggers are. If you know that if I go into that shop that I love going into, that I'm going to want to buy, don't go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's about control and discipline, but you've got to want to do that. Because after you've gone into that shop and you've walked out with that thing, as soon as you get home, you've tried it on and everything, guaranteed, you start regretting.
Yeah.
And you will regret it, and you're thinking, why did I do it? I've done it again. But you've already done it. So catch it. Don't even go down that direction. If you've got friends who you feel either look down on you or do things that you don't go there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's plain. Make decisions. Make positive decisions that are going to put you in a good place.
We have to be intentional.
Absolutely right.
We have to be intentional about it. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have to be intentional.
Yeah.
So you're not just living your life ad hoc. Be able to make decisions. Don't let other people make those decisions for you that are going to have you behave in a certain way.
In a certain way.
Refuse that.
We can be better. We can be better for ourselves and our society.
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Especially, and for me, I'm like the men. We need better men.
They're out there.
We need better men, more whole, healed
Whole,
men
absolutely.
in our society.
No, we do.
We
No, we
need
do.
it.
We do.
Then
Are you out there, guys?
the rapes will stop.
They
The
will.
violence will stop.
Absolutely.
You know, the abuse will stop.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, when we
Absolutely.
have more healthy people in our society.
Absolutely. And women as well.
And women as well, I know, right? Yes, they're crazy.
We're thrashing, guys.
You know?
Yeah. But you're and that is all a part of the anger, all that. The alcoholism, it's because people aren't coping, but we need more whole people.
Mental wellness.
Mental wellness. Absolutely right.
Woo! Wow. Wasn't that amazing? I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling that we are doing the right thing, talking about this and encouraging us to get to the point we can openly talk about this and we can actually take the power that we have to make the right decisions concerning our mental health and our mental wellness, because we will actually see our society change for the better, isn't it? Please share this video. There's somebody in your circle who needs to hear this. Yeah? Share it on WhatsApp, share it on your social media. Share it, share it, share it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Tell YouTube that you like what you're watching. And if you haven't subscribed, honey, you know what to do. Hit it! If you need someone to talk to, okay? If you're going through a really tough time, which happens to all of us, Shibero is available. I've placed her contact details in the description box below. Reach out. Reach out. Don't do this alone, all right? Okay, guys. It's time for me to go. See you next week.